John Sucich.
Thank you very much. So I'm a dad. I have 3 kids. They're all girls, which I know, but don't worry. They got my wife's eyebrows, so they're okay. It's funny, a lot of people, they find out I have 3 kids, they like to say, who's your favorite? As though I have a favorite kid. I don't even know how I go about picking a favorite kid. Although the other day my coffee maker broke and my middle child was like, what's the big deal? So I guess I'd start by eliminating her. My youngest, she's at an interesting age, because she's old enough to be able to read my email over my shoulder, but she's too young to understand what spam is. So it's weird because she keeps asking my wife about daddy's lonely Brazilian girlfriends. She keeps asking me questions too about how babies are made, which is fine. Like I just give her a straight answer because research shows that's all they want is an honest answer, so I've been doing that. But she threw me a curve. She goes, Daddy, does it hurt when they take the baby out of the mommy? And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that. But I collected myself. I was like, all right, honesty. I said, I felt a little faint, but I can't say it hurt. I'm an overprotective dad. I know that about myself. I'm trying to change it. My daughters, they went shopping. My oldest daughter, she bought this shirt. It says, Girls Run the World. It's like, it's a great shirt, great message. I love seeing her wear it. And I know it's supposed to be read like in an authoritative voice, like, girls run the world. But every time she wears it, I can't help but read it in my overprotective dad to 3 daughters voice. It's like, girls, run! The world. My girls are smart. We read Highlights magazine together. You guys remember Highlights? It has the what's wrong page. You got to circle the fish in the tree, that kind of thing. She made her own what's wrong page. She draws a man, a woman, they're in an office setting. She gives it to me. She goes, Daddy, what's wrong? I looked at it. I was like, honey, this is beautiful. So these details are incredible. This man, this woman looks like they're doing the exact same thing. I don't know what's wrong with it. She goes, that's exactly what's wrong with it. They are doing the exact same thing, and her salary is 75% of what he's making. One of the nice things about having 3 kids, we meet all these new people. We meet the parents of our kids' friends. One of the couples, we just found out, they got married the same day as my wife and me. We have the exact same wedding anniversary, which is cool, but we can't be friends because now they know my ATM pin. During this article, this is interesting. It was about this woman who got married. Her dad had passed away before the wedding, but he was an organ donor. She had the man who received her dad's heart walk her down the aisle and give her away. It's this beautiful story. I'm reading it. I got halfway through. I was like, oh my God, this is like the exact opposite of my wedding day. Because my wife, her dad was there to walk her down the aisle and give her away, but his heart wasn't in it. I just saw my brother, which is cool. My brother just got a dog, and he's training the puppy. He's using this clicking method. So every time the dog does something good, he'll click to reinforce the positive behavior. So he'll be like, Mabel, sit, and she'll sit. Mabel, paw, and she'll give him her paw. She'll start nibbling his hand and be like, Mabel, no. Mabel, down, and she'll lay down. I was like, Matthew, this is incredible. I'm really proud of you. Nice work, buddy. I was over at my neighbor's house. He had this case of poison ivy in his yard. And I hadn't heard of this. He brought in goats to get rid of the poison ivy. You ever hear this? Yeah. So the reason he found out about the poison ivy, he got it all up and down his arm. And it was crazy, it worked. The goats got rid of the poison, ate his arm right off. Last week was Veterans Day. I loved seeing all the celebrations of the veterans. You know what I love is the military family reunions. I love the ones that are surprised at the ballpark, where the family they get invited to throw out the first pitch of the game. Then the catcher or the umpire, they take off their mask and it's dad home from the service. Like, I love watching those. I always wonder, though, what's the conversation like a couple hours later? You know, like maybe the mom and dad, they're sitting in the stands watching the game. She turns to him and says, so you got in this morning? You just been hanging out at the ballpark all day? No. It's just that instead of playing dress up like an umpire, maybe you could help pick the kids up from school. That they would have been just as surprised. But I think too, like those surprises, they're so effective. There must be all these times these families are invited to the ballpark to throw out the first pitch just as a matter of course with no surprise plan. You know, but they think it's their moment. I feel bad for those families. The poor kid throws out the pitch. Catcher takes off his mask. It was just the catcher. Kid's like, oh. No, I thought you might be my dad. Catcher looks over at the mom, does some quick math. He's like, you know, it's possible. It is possible. I was doing some traveling. I was down in D.C. and I was driving back north. I took the New Jersey Turnpike. I had forgotten, along the New Jersey Turnpike, all of the rest areas are named for notable people from New Jersey. So you're like driving north, it's like Woodrow Wilson Rest Area, Joyce Kilmer Rest Area, Grover Cleveland Rest Area. And one of the things about me, I love presidential trivia. So like Grover Cleveland, I was like, that's my favorite fact. Only president to serve 2 terms non-consecutively. And I was surprised to see Woodrow Wilson, because historians are looking back on his legacy and saying he had racist policies. And at Princeton, they want to take his name off a building. I was surprised the Turnpike did, and I was like, they can get out in front of this controversy, take his name off the rest area, but have a sense of humor about it. So you're driving north on the New Jersey Turnpike, it could be like Grover Cleveland Rest Area, Joyce Kilmer Rest Area, Grover Cleveland Rest Area. I heard, inspired by Hamilton, like they were going to do a musical based on Grover Cleveland's presidency. The only problem was intermission would be 4 years long. All right, one too many Grover Cleveland. I used to be a teacher. It's funny, you go through all this schooling to be a teacher, but nothing's as valuable as actually being in the classroom. Like I didn't know I was going to be any good as a teacher until midway through my first year in the classroom, a girl in my 4th grade class, she threw up on me. And I didn't throw up back on her. Like in that moment when I choked down the vomit, I was like, I can do this. We're going to be okay. It is hard though. You use a different language in the classroom than you do at home. I would get confused sometimes. That was frustrating for my wife because she would say, you're not listening to me. And I would say, you never told me to put on my listening ears. So I left teaching. I was having trouble separating work and home. I was taking my work home with me too. The reason I knew that was happening, like my first 2 daughters, their first word was Dada. And my youngest daughter, her first word was Mr. Sucich. So now I'm a writer. I left teaching after 10 years to write. It's going well. I work from home. I like it a lot. I guess my only regret about leaving teaching when I did is I did it the year my daughters learned how to do air quotes. Because now I drop them off at school and I say bye, and they say, okay, bye. Have a good day at work. But the problem is they're still learning the air quotes, so they don't always get it right. So sometimes I'll say bye, and they'll say, okay, bye. Have a good day at work, Dad. Like, I know that second air quote's a mistake. I think it's a mistake. I do worry what my kids talk about when they're not at home. My daughter in 1st grade, they do this thing called weekend news. Every Monday she gets a sheet of paper, it says this weekend, and then she writes what she did over the weekend. So some weekends she gets invited to a birthday party. I know she's going to write, this weekend I went to a birthday party. Fine. But most weekends we don't do anything. So I drop her off Monday, then I sit and sweat all day like, what is she going to write about? Because I know the day's coming, she's going to come home and that paper's going to say, this weekend, Daddy pretended like he had to go to the bathroom. But I know he just sat in there and listened to his podcast. Or this weekend, Daddy yelled at us because we woke him up. Then he taught us the difference between napping and being dead. Or this weekend, I watched football with Daddy, which is a sweet one. Except I know it would go on to say, the Patriots won, but they couldn't cover the point spread. Sometimes Daddy cries watching football. My name is John Sucich. Thank you very much, everybody.